All right, we are live. I apologize, everyone, for the delay. We are live here with the Social Kick swim team. Everyone, thank you for joining today, and welcome to Social Kick team. I would love for you guys to quickly go around and do a little bit of intros here. We even got Brian live from Paris.
I'll start, man. Look, we got the Paris pool in the background. Just watched the USA women close out the meet with a world record. Swimming's been epic. Venue's epic. Paris is totally lit right now. It's you can feel the energy around and meeting so many people who've traveled here for the games. And yeah, man, it was the right call to come and be a part of this. It's very, very awesome.
I love it. I would say, like, what was your favorite event, but we're going to get into all of that. Love the intro, Brian. I'll kick it over to the rest of you guys.
I'm John. I'm part of the Social Kick crew. I'm based right now a little north of Seattle. Luke, off to you.
Yeah, and I'm Luke. I'm not I'm in New York. I'm not in Paris, but I'm next to Brian, who FaceTime me. Part of Social Kick. It's 3 of us doing this for 5 years, and excited to be on Kyle's show, man. Sweet.
Well, I'm excited for this too. Let's see. I want to make sure you guys make sure in the chat that you guys are still able to see us. I want to make sure everything's going well. Again, we have these problems time to time. But without further ado, let's dive right into this. I have like a whole bank of options of swims that we could choose from. I guess just like a couple things that like come top of mind. Like, we had so many swims, not even every swim is listed here. Because maybe they didn't even meet some criteria, because my goodness, look at how many swims. There are just so many awesome ones. Anyone standing out to you guys as like, hey, I think this could be my favorite swim in Paris, or anything?
I mean, men's 100 free. I mean, that was, I think, just a jaw dropper on many fronts, right? I think that left me speechless and made me rewind and just watch it again like right away. So
yeah,
I think I'll take the cake, the easy one, and take the men's 100 free.
No, absolutely. The title of the show is Top 10 Moments. If that's a moment I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget somebody winning 100 freestyle by a second against the best 100 freestyles in the world ever. It's crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. Brian, were you there for that?
No, I wasn't there for that one. I did watch his 45-9 split tonight in the medley relay, which was absolutely insane. I think it's hard. I was going to go Bobby Finke tonight because the second individual world record, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
At least on the men's side, kept the U.S. streak alive. Huge swim. He was ahead of the world record for a long time and held it. And I was worried about him in an outside lane being able to do typical Bobby Finke stuff, like hang on someone's hip and then stay in the race and close the way he always closes. It seems like that was his strategy. It bit him in the 800 because he couldn't see Dan Whiffen. But then he just took the bull by the horn tonight and owned it. But to be honest, like, not to steal anybody's thunder here, but the French really showed out, and it's really hard to pick against, like, Leon, all of them.
Yeah, that 200 breaststroke where the videos on social media of him, just every time he was breathing, the whole crowd was cheering. Ooh. That gave me like chills just watching that. The French really did show out. My goodness. It's a tough one.
I got chills in the stands. Watching that and listening to that. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the best way to break this down might even be like, hey, let's start at number 1 and like let's work back from there, because there was so many amazing swims. Gosh, do we have a consensus on either the 100 free or the mile for there, or even a Leon Marchand? Is it the 400 IM, 2 breast? What are we thinking, team? Anyone in the chat, what do you guys think the number 1 swim could be?
I'd love to know what the chat is. If we're to go in swims, maybe it's Pan, but if it's
moment,
maybe it's Bobby.
I see what you're saying.
swims, I think. Because it's such a big drop. But if it's moments in a home country Olympics to have an experience like Leon has had, I don't think anything tops Leon.
Which race for him then? I mean, like you said, it's like all four, and none were a world record, right? I mean, that 2IM was close. Him coming back on Milok and the 2 fly. I mean, God, it's hard to, I don't know which one, or the 4IM, the first one when the crowd was just like chanting his name beforehand. I don't even know which one is like better than the next. They're all like equally awesome.
I didn't even have the 200 IM up there. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, I thought he was getting that record. He was so close. God, I still can't believe
such a good one.
His breaststroke leg doesn't, get a more length ahead of Lochtey's 2IM. That's just not epic. Lochtey's 2IM.
Lochtey's freestyle was amazing.
Oh, nuts.
Yeah. The chat is definitely saying a lot of the 1500 world record. I'm seeing some Katie Ledecky in the mile as well. Yeah, I don't know. If we're talking moment, I totally agree with what you're saying. The moment that Bobby Finke won that second world record of the meet, like that is a long-standing world record. Obviously, like Panzanle already had the world record, so he just took some time off of his world record. But my goodness, that Bobby Finke world record, I expected gold, but I didn't expect a world record. I don't know about you guys.
See, I'm still voting for 100 free because the moment is still going on because people are still talking so much about it, whether you want to, throw some, controversy in all this. But yeah, people are still talking all about that 100 free. And that happened days ago, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm still voting for the 100 free, but I hear what you're saying where, the moment of being in Paris and getting those titles and the crowd. Whew.
You see, it was almost slightly unexpected because the dude almost didn't get to swim it. He almost missed semis, right? And he came down. But then he set an Olympic record. And then he backed it up today. He went out 21.5 in this relay.
Yeah, that was insane. To the feet.
To the feet.
I don't know about you guys.
The last 5 meters are nuts. He accelerates so much into that wall. It's insane.
And he's 19. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 19 years old. 19. And I think it's really his legs that carry him. And it's not even like a crazy underwater or anything. Like those legs were just going the whole time. There was a motorboat behind him. I might have to make the executive decision here. I think that this might be the number one moment of Paris.
Yeah. But
I think that
But moment, Kyle, for us or for those in the stands, because Brian had a mention about what the reaction was today after in the stands after China won that relay. What was the reaction? What's the moment in the stands versus the moment for us as swim fans? Brian, do you want to talk about today's reaction in the stands?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as Kyle's executive decision goes, when I reflect on the global audience, they're going to remember Pan's world record. They're going to remember that 46.4. Leon, of course, like all of his, if he had broken a bunch of world records, I think it might change the picture. I was going to say when we were talking about which of his individual events to pick, that really the moment was the hard one, just as it was with Phelps, because everybody thought, okay, Kavik is his biggest threat. Even though Lochte was in the picture and he had some other challenges, his biggest difficulty was going to be taking down Kavik in the 100 fly. And the same for Leon here. His biggest challenge was going to be, can he beat Milok in that 200 fly? Mm-hmm. He was behind him for 180 some odd meters. And then when he came by him, that was a hell of a moment. So to me, that's the best Leon swim at this meet, especially because he didn't break any of the world records. But I do think as far as the general public goes globally, they're going to remember 46.4. And whatever you think about it, and the feelings about it, it's generated a lot of attention for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to make the executive decision on that one. That, for me, was my number one moment of Paris. I definitely, joined in around the chatter because I think this is one of those big, looming question marks that a lot of people have. But again, going back to all the testing that they have done, he did it the right way. So until someone proves me otherwise, that for me was the craziest moment I've seen in swimming in a long time.
Let's just enjoy it.
Let's enjoy it. Right? I love fast swimming.
Yep.
I love fast swimming. And yeah, for me, that was a number 1 moment. But if we had to go a number 2 moment, is it going to be a lay-on, or is it going to be or is it going to be Finke?
Yeah.
To me, it's Finke. You negative split of 1500. You outthink them. He has different. Again, he goes out hard and he holds and still comes back in a 26-2, John, is it?
Yep, 26-2. I thought for sure he wasn't going to get the record because I'm like, oh, he went out
Yeah.
fast. I know Sun Young closed in a 53 with a 25 that last 50. And although Bobby closes always strong, we hadn't seen him push it so much early on. But yeah, 26-2, and he was back at a 55, so still not a 53. But he got that record, right? And it was a spectacular swim, that's for sure. And like I said, nice to see Bobby respond after which looked like a little bit of a disappointing 800, or at least a disappointing result in that 800 free, to just say, hey, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to wait around. I'm going to just take it. And it paid off by getting the world record that's been standing for a long time by another controversial Chinese swimmer, that's for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I think for me, that was the number 2 moment of Paris for sure. I definitely was like waiting for that first US gold, and I had confidence in Bobby just because of like the great swimmer he is. We were the same year in college, and so I remember when I was coming up in the high school rankings and stuff, I remember like, oh, Bobby Finke's out there, and just to like see his progression from high school to now, what a cool moment for the guy. Like he is the anchor for the United. It's good to see US distance swimming is back. Yeah. In my opinion, I know we've already had 2 males, top the podium here on the 1 and 2 spots. But I do think that you have to put one of the Leon Marchand moments in at the number 3 spot. Please chat. If you guys have anyone else, please let me know otherwise. But oh, my goodness, I feel like it's got to be Leon Marchand here.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Other arguments are what, like Katie's 800 with her 4th gold in a row, or the mile where she killed everyone, or the medley, the women's medley. That was a strong stamp at the end, just 4 real solid legs. And another world record, right? Another world record. They get it by over a second?
Yeah. Brian got
Yeah.
What about Summer?
What, to fly?
That's 3 golds?
Yeah, I mean
4 IM. It could be any one of the things.
I mean, I put Summer's 3 golds ahead of any of Ledecky moments for sure. To me, we're going top to bottom.
At 17.
Pond. Yeah, we're going Pond. We're going Bobby Finke for the world records, and then we're going the next like medal hall performance and moments. That's Leon, and then on the women's side, it's got to be Summer, right?
Yeah, maybe that 2 IM, because it was like such a big race. You had the 200 fly, 200 back, 200 breast champion. You had Alex Walsh take it out. Unfortunately, have a rough finish, and then even rougher after the event when she got disqualified for the back to breast. So that was a pretty big moment. And like you said, just the icing on top for Summer, just showing, hey, I'm amazing if you don't already know.
Look, I love Summer. You know that. But I'm also an emotional guy. I'm a sensitive guy, the lot, obviously. How is it not Sarah's 100 freestyle? That was such a moment.
50 free?
The 100 freestyle when she touched, and that was so genuine. And come on, guys. That moment was a genuine surprise. And how lovely she is. And we all know Sarah. The go-to sprinting. Come on.
That is very true as well.
Moment, not race. Moment. Okay.
It is moments. It is moments. All right. So I think really in contention here, we have Summer McIntosh, Leon, and Sarah. We got 4 guys here. I'll let the consensus win. But for me, it's probably Summer's 200 fly or 400 IM.
200 fly. Good on. 200 fly.
I'm for a Summer swim. Yeah, I still think it's 2 IM. I think that was like the one question mark for her. Yeah. Like, can she do the 2 IM, right? I think the other one's not that anything's easy, right? Or anything's for certain, but I think there was more questions who's going to win that 2 IM, right? But yeah, I'm for a Summer one. Sorry, no Sarah 100 free.
All right. That I guess already takes the consensus there. I like the 2 IM as well. I think we'll put that at the number 3 spot. And if we're putting that at the number 3 spot, then looking ahead, I feel like we have to throw Leon Marchand in there.
Yeah.
Is any moment in particular 2IM?
For me, it's 2IM because he got so close. That record is so dominating. I mean, Brian, you
True.
had a good point about coming back against that race. Brian, you were there for the 2IM, right? What was that like being there for the 2IM in the audience? His 2 fly was a harder swim for him to win gold, but 2IM 154.06, guys.
And there was comments I know from our swimming commentator friend Kyle Sockwell previously about how that was a soft world record, but again, still untouched all the way back from the Phelps and Lochte era. Oh, I hope he does it at like a world championships or something, but yeah, I think that was, again, for me, that was a big one outside of that last underwater on the 2 fly.
Yeah, I still think 2 fly, but
yeah,
I'm for both were great.
Yeah. On the two fly, it was the close of the last 25 meters, but that was a big loss underwater, I think. But yeah, I mean, the crowd was amped for Leon to take down that world record, and I think it also solidifies how people feel about Lochte's 154 flat, because Leon went faster than Phelps ever went, but that was peak Lochte. That was Lochte when he won the 200 freestyle at Worlds in 2011 and won that 2IM. Giving myself a thumbs up here. And won that 2IM with the world record. So it took a really good close, even though Leon was ahead of it by several tenths going into the freestyle leg. So I don't know. I mean, what else can I say? Ale Leon. Heard that?
I'm sure you heard a lot of that this weekend in France. So consensus that
one more thing on Leon 2IM. Buddy was in the track stadium at the time when Leon was swimming the 2IM, and you may have seen some other clips of this because I've seen some posted on social of people that were in the track stadium as well at the time this happened. There was a heat of 200 or 400 about to go off, and they were like behind the blocks and on the track, and the whole crowd was watching the swimming on their phone. They didn't even have it on the big board in the track stadium, but they had it on their phone, and the whole crowd in the track stadium started going Ale Leon, Ale Leon, and
that's awesome
because everybody was cheering for Leon. And they had to wait until he won the race and won his gold. The crowd went nuts, and then they could resume the track.
Wow.
I love that.
Telling people in the track stadium to be quiet, and they were just going crazy.
I love it. Yeah, I think that 2IM's got to be up there at the number 4 swim there. 6 moments left.
God, the swimmer of the meet. Like the huge name, so many good swims, and he's the 4th one. I mean, I know I was voting for other ones first, but it's just crazy to say it out loud, right? Just that he had such a great meet, and he's the number 4th moment, and he's the swimmer.
Yeah,
he's the man. Wow.
Yeah, we had a lot of great swims with this Olympics. I was thoroughly surprised. Sorry, and very impressed with the swimming all around. Looking ahead though at the number 5 spot, I feel like we got to jump in on one of those relays, because whether it was the Hunter Armstrong 46 where the U.S. won the 4x1, or the U.S. women's medley relay world record, or even the mixed relay world record the other night, I felt like I was on the edge of my seat for all those relays. Great to see the U.S. get some wins on there. I was very worried that they weren't going to win the mixed and the 4x1 freestyle. Obviously a bummer on the medley relay. History snapped there, but a lot of great relays. What do you guys think the standout relay is for you guys?
For me, I guess since it's moments, right? I'll go with the mixed one, because that was a great race. They put up great times, both China and the U.S. Both teams were swimming fast, and it came down to the touch. It's sad that I don't know, you almost need a little bit more of a push sometimes for these to become moments, and that women's relay was too good. The women's 400 medley was just too good. They just crushed everyone. But they all had great swims. Olympic record by Reagan leading off. So even though she didn't win the gold, she got the Olympic record for her name. So I think I'm going to go with the mixed though. My gut says mixed, even though that the women's was so great.
It was a while ago. I mean, obviously, I'm thinking of today's women's relay and that world record, but it was my favorite relay to swim, the 400 freestyle relay. We all were thinking the first night we're gonna see a 307 maybe. We didn't see that, but we saw Hunter swim that was out of his mind and swim, and I really enjoyed seeing that and seeing Hunter a backstroker swim that. So to me, I always enjoyed the 400 freestyle relay, and I enjoyed it again.
Brian, any closing comments here? Break the tie.
Good, Brian.
I was going to say the men's medley was the only other one besides the mixed medley that was like a true race, right? And at least that I can recall. And while that was a good race, it wasn't as close as the mixed medley. And the fact that both of those teams were under the world record, and then you really got the best performance out of Murphy. I mean, on the U.S. side, you got the best performance out of Murph and Finke. And Gretchen goes 55-1. She went a little bit faster tonight with 55-0. And then you got the best out of Tori with one of the fastest splits of all time, and for sure her fastest going 51. So, like, I think top to bottom, like the Chinese relay was also really dialed too. So I think from like a pure quality of swims standpoint versus the men's, if you were to compare those two, the men's medley, 3 out of 4 U.S. guys split faster at this meet already, besides Dressel. So I think it's the mixed medley for sure on relays.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the consensus, especially since they broke the world record too. That was like it's the second time I've ever hosted that at the Olympics, so that was like a cool one. I think for even all the fans at home too could really get behind that. Now we still have a page full of swims, and I feel like I gotta put Ledecky up next. Is there any? I mean, obviously we have the Sjostrom swim as well. I know that was an amazing moment. 100 freestyle, 50 freestyle. I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
Again, moment. I mean, it was nice to see Katie really be happy after that race. How she jumped up and she was extremely happy. But again, moment. I'm putting Daniel Wiffen in there as well, 800, and the Finke comeback, and Wiffen scrambling for his life, and I don't think Finke saw him, as Brian said on our show in a mid show. That was just such a amazing 7 minutes and 30 how many seconds? It was so good. So I don't know. But yeah,
I feel like
it's races moments. Katie's 800, 4 in a row.
Yeah, I think Katie's 800, fourth gold in a row. Titmus put up a great battle, right? She had a great swim and went with her. So we had that rivalry back in there. And, Rowdy and the NBC crew can pump up the Australia-USA beef some more, right? So I think it was a moment for swimmers, but then everyone else. And then Paige Madden, perfect even split, dropping 5 seconds. So I don't know. If we're going to go with the Ledecky swim, which I think she deserves one here, I think the 800 for me.
Okay. I like that pick too. I think the moment and like the history behind it, from Ledecky being the 15-year-old in London, all the way to now, I was just like, wow, this is sheer dominance, just like Phelps, coming in at the number 6 spot. So we got 7, 8, 9, and 10 left. We've already covered a lot of the Marchand swims. I feel like you said it right there. It's either going to be Wiffen or Sjostrom there. I interviewed Daniel Wiffen a couple months ago. What a nice kid. And when I was interviewing him, I could already tell he had his mindset on he was coming off the world championships. He's like, that was great, but I have some bigger goals. And I already knew. I was like, oh man, if he gets it done in Paris, that'd be awesome. And I'm glad he did.
Whew, a lot of good swims still on there. Maybe we could just do all the rest of the Leon ones all in a row, right? And then do 3 Leon swims, or that 400 medley for women. I mean, I still think that's another world record, right? I know we talked about it, but we didn't move it down. So that's tough.
I mean, moments also can be interpreted as being tough and being like, dang, that was a moment that was really hard to see, So I mean, man, the 5,900 breaststrokes, the slow pools, some DQ.
I didn't even include that on the list because it was so slow. I was like, this isn't a moment for me.
The Max Litchfield coming fourth again. There are some moments too that as Olympians, it to miss out on it was hard.
Yeah.
Those are moments. Oh, to see some of the greats of our sports from for the last time. Those are some moments, you know. Lily ends on a world record. So, guys, I'm being all emotional again, you know me, but yeah, but I would go with in here at the spot if it was me personally. Brian, I haven't heard from you though.
I think that's really a toss up for me because you compound Whiffin's win with Mona McSherry's bronze, and it was like Ireland has a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Ireland hasn't had a moment in swimming since '96, and even then, that became kind of a black eye with Michelle Smith. So, you know, I think that collectively kind of becomes a 24-hour period of really peak for Ireland swimming, which could be really good for the sport longer term. If I had to pick between the two, though, I'd probably put Sarah's just above that with her 100 free because of the way that she spoke about herself and her career afterwards and how much it meant and how she surprised herself. And, you know, she's old.
Yeah.
At 30. And, you know, I think for what she's meant to the sport, for being, you know, one of the best female swimmers ever, for sure, the best female sprinter ever. I'll just put her above it for her like legacy in swimming overall, and then Ireland and Whiffin behind that.
Brian, what about the men's 50 free? You were there for that. Was that a moment? You had Flo there in lane 1. He got his medal. You had Cam getting the first medal for Australia in the 50, which is like mind blowing. What was that like?
Yeah. You know, I think that had Flo won it, then this would be much higher on moments for sure.
For sure.
And there was a ton of energy around that one, as there always is for a 50 freestyle, right? Especially, you know, like it or not, on the men's side, that's got a little bit more hype to it, I think. And I'll just say that, you know, I was surprised that at this level, it's all or nothing. And I bumped into James Gibson the other night after the 50 free, and you know, like I expected, you know, a lot of celebration around, you know, having 2 on the podium, and while very pleased with that, there was also, you could sense a bit of maybe some disappointment that, you know, they didn't get on the top step. And so with being such a close race, there was just a lot surrounding that, and a lot of energy around Flo for that. So I think, you know, as far as the 50 free goes, I didn't hang around with too many Australians. So I think maybe, you know, it's the first time that Australia has won the 50 free, which I didn't even know that. It's kind of crazy to think, knowing how you know, good they've been at the 100 freestyle over so many years, and lots of other events, of course. So, I mean, that's a huge moment for a swimming nation. It's a huge moment for, you know, the fact that they won the 50. It's a big moment for like people doing training differently and like reinventing their career. Because Cam, you know, he was a 47 flat 100 freestyler and went away for a while and then came back to the sport and like started a whole new training program and became a different person in swimming. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot to admire. But anyway, kind of rambling here. It was a great moment. I think that it's kind of in this spot on the list for sure. If we're going to put it even within the top 10, I don't know if it even deserves a top 10 spot. But yeah, had Flo won it, for sure would have been.
But I think we do have to consider these French swims as well. Yes, we say the home crowd's a huge advantage, but the home crowd can be a massive disadvantage as well. You know, we put a question on Instagram. What advice do you have for swimming in front of a home crowd for the 50 free? And Brett Hawk wrote and said, don't forget to breathe. I certainly didn't, because Brett's on the right before you start the race. And often you get too caught up and you overswim it. We saw it with Thiago Pereira in Brazil in his 200 IM. They don't swim their races sometimes, you know, but Flo had all that, used that energy and put it in the right place. So the Leon, sometimes you don't swim your race. And so it's even harder.
Yeah, for sure. I still think you guys, from your points earlier about Sarah, might have to be right. Just because she was from that outside lane, she was stunned to win that. I like your guys' call earlier about like that was a moment for her. a moment for women's swimming in general. And good to see. That was her second gold medal ever outside of the 2016. And then obviously she went on to win the 50 later. So 3 gold medals now to her name. I feel like she can probably hang up her cap and goggles knowing that she went out with a bang. That was the number 7 moment for me. I had to make the executive decision there. But you also mentioned the Whiffen moment as well. Yeah. Are we fine putting that at 8? Because I think that's that. And I heard them while they were swimming the mile today. They were saying, Daniel Whiffen has become a celebrity in the village. Everyone's asking to take photos with him and stuff like that. I thought that was a funny moment on the commentators, at least. I mean, I can only imagine what he's been through in the past 48 hours.
So funny story, when I went to the Sydney Games to watch my brother swim, my brother and I look very much alike. So my brother just gave me his credential, and I got into all of the swimmers. So I just got the credential and I walked in. Guarantee Nathan is having some advantages today, his twin brother.
I'm sure. They look exactly alike.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we got 2 spots left, 9 and 10. There's plenty of moments, and we still haven't even placed the women's 4x100 medley relay. I don't know. Is that going down there at number 9? I hate to put that at number 9 because it feels like such a great swim. It's a world record. I feel like it should be up there almost.
An individual Olympic record, all in one. It just, I don't know why. It just it was not that exciting because they won by so much.
Reagan gets
Australia had like a 107 100 breaststroke leg. What the heck?
Yeah.
107? God.
I think
all stepped up.
The U.S., 3 of the 4 girls were medalists. I think everyone except Lily King in the individual events. So,
she got 4th by 100th. So,
and she's a defending, she previously was an Olympic champion. So she's got the credentials. What a relay. And I guess that
like you said, Luke. Yeah, that's a great
3 world record
Lily,
holders
right?
on the event. They all stepped up. Send off to Lily in her career. Reagan gets a gold. Olympic record.
Yeah.
It's a moment.
It's a moment. Yeah.
It is a moment for sure.
Lower.
Yeah, it probably should be. We have the mixed medley relay down there, and that was a moment as well. And I think, man, I was having a fun time with some friends yesterday. We were all hanging out, and we were like, let's put some money on this swim meet. And we ended up realizing that, when you do know how fast these swimmers are, it's very easy to win money gambling on swimming. And so needless to say, we cashed money the past 2 days there. So that relay was being a part of it.
Kyle,
brought to you by DraftKings.
When I didn't make the Olympic team in 2012, I was house sitting for David Starwater, who made the Olympic team, and I bet a lot of money on that Olympic Games, and I did really well. So I totally agree with you. And that was in the early days of how you could bet. You had to go through like a betting house in the UK. But I put a lot of money down on really shitty odds for Sun Yang to win the mile. And that was the race where they blew the whistle and he fell in the pool. And I was like, oh, no. Because he was for sure like a lock. And that was his world record that got beat tonight. Thankfully, Sun got out of the pool. Looks around, what's going on? Everybody's like, dude, you just fell in. Just get up and swim. And he swims again, breaks the world record. Everything's good. I make my money. But when it's a sure shot, sometimes you can get a little on tilt because you know that they're going to win it. So I agree.
It is.
But, be careful.
Oh, no. Be careful, everyone at home. Again, we were having some good fun. And it was like $10. But, turned into $100. So that was great. I think when looking at the last moment, we have a Leon Marchand, we have a Summer McIntosh, we have the Katie Ledecky moment. So really, it comes down to what do you want to put on there at the last top 10 moment of the Olympics? And when I look across the board, I'm seeing so many other good moments, but I feel like they're already accounted for. If it were me,
go.
I don't know. I put like the Kate Douglas or Cam McAvoy in there. That's just me, though.
I don't know. I love the relays at the Olympics, right? And that 4x1 male relay for the U.S. that was an exciting win. China That was an amazing leg by Pon and coming back.
True.
So I don't know. And you had freaking Manadou anchoring that French relay. When was the last time he did 100? 4 years ago? When I saw him walk out, I was like, oh, they're going.
It's gonna be interesting.
I'm like, he's gonna die. I hope he finishes well, but he's gonna eat.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
that was fun.
I love the relay. So my vote's for one of those.
I'll step in here. My vote's a double-double. The first double-double in history. Kaylee come through clutch.
Oh.
That she always seemed to touch the wall first. Double-double, never been done before, guys. It's and yeah, how she swam it. And she swam 2 IM, and she got the bronze in 2 IM. That's pretty good.
I don't even think I have that written in.
I didn't realize double hadn't been done before. I think that one's got to be it.
That's got to be in there.
But some honorable mentions for sure. Like if we've got a relay that didn't make it in, then that with the mixed medley world record or women's 4x1 medley, a lot of layers to that one. And then I think like as far as other maybe like honorable mentions go too, or like if we're outside the final spot is any of the people who won first medal for their country. So like Apostolos Christo winning that medal in the 200 backstroke. Nobody predicted that. For damn sure he didn't have a betting line on him, I bet, Kyle. So
and he went for it.
That was a great race. Mona McSherry's medal, of course. But there's got to be lots of other ones that are first timers, and so those all have a place too in recognition.
Definitely.
Zhang Yufei with 6 medals.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. 50 free to 200 fly.
Anchored Japan's relay tonight. And she's, back from a battle with leukemia to not only make the Japanese Olympic team, but also to compete at the games in the final heat. Like that's pretty big time too.
For sure. Those are some great honorable mentions. I think you guys might be right though. I think we have to put the double in there. Especially giving like the context around all of it, her losing her father before Tokyo Games, and then her just going on an absolute blister over the past couple of world championships, going back and forth with the world record with her and Reagan. I think that's got to be a part of that top 10 there. And again, if we're looking at honorable mentions, we're leaving out the 4x1 medley. We're leaving out the 4x1 freestyle. We're leaving out Cam McAvoy. We're leaving out so many people. And that's not to say those weren't insane swims. Like US going 1-2 in the women's 100 butterfly, that was a moment. But my goodness, that was, just looking at the top 10 here. Anything you guys would have done differently? Chat, anything you guys would have done differently?
Eat it up, chat. There's got to be some differences because there was like
I'm sure
there's so many good swims, so many. It's choosing favorite kids here, right? It's just how you define a moment and what's important to you. Yeah.
Tatiana, that was amazing. Now she's retired. It's the last we're going to see another great South African breaststroker. I mean, they're moments.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, this is the first stream we've ever done together, guys, and I appreciate you guys coming on and making this possible. This was a fun one. It was great to meet you guys all at Olympic trials the other month, and great to know that we only live probably an hour drive from each other. So definitely going to be connecting with you guys more in the future, and thank you to everyone who watched here. This Olympics was one for the H's. Woo! We're going to end it on that. Thank you guys all.